to also earn foreign exchange for their country. And so when they do all of that, those goods, they come into our country and then they now appear to be cheaper. But somewhere, somebody is actually paying the difference. And so,
in other words, subsidy.
Yeah, of course. You can subsidize
We've
production.
Seen that huge in China.
Yeah, that happens in China, not only in China, even in America. They subsidize production. So every country, they look at their strategic sectors that can be unfairly, treated if left to, uncontrolled forces from outside. And so they put a whole lot of incentive behind them just to support them and make sure that they play the critical role they are supposed to play in the larger economy of the nation.
Okay. I mean, you represent manufacturers in Abuja, Nasarawa, and Niger states, well, Abuja, the federal capital. Are state governors and subnationals aligning with this Niger First policy? Do they play a role? What's your take? What have you seen so far?
Well, we've seen them actually signing up for this. For instance, today we have a representative of the governor of Nasarawa State who was at that meeting, and he spoke passionately about the governor's commitment to drive and promote manufacturing in Nasarawa State. He told us all the plans they have, the policies they have in place, which is also in alignment with the federal government policy. We know that some of these activities will definitely be happening at the subnationals.
Yeah.
So we're calling on all the state governors and those who are playing in the local politics at the subnational to embrace this policy and make sure that they drive its implementation in their region.
I know you've talked about intentionality, but as we go, what are the top 3 deliverables you expect from the government as they move to implement this policy? What do you expect to see from them? 3 things. Okay,
for instance, one of the areas we want the government to be more intentional is to move this policy from being a mere policy to an act of the parliament.
Okay.
So we would expect the government to, within the next 40 days, send an executive bill to the National Assembly so that the National Assembly can discuss, with the larger stakeholders and eventually, pass a law that will now make this Nigerian First policy to become an act of parliament. And when it becomes an act of parliament, it has a more biting, effect. And so when people disregard it and there's issue of non-compliance, you can hold the actors, accountable.
Yeah.
And of course, necessary sanctions and punishment.
All right.
And of course, even it can go as far as criminalizing, the breach of the provisions of this act if it eventually becomes a law.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Alonge, is the Chairman, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Nasarawa, and Niger State's branch. Thank you for being on the news tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well,